Golf superstar Tiger Woods, who has been injured in a serious car accident in Palos Verdes, California, just outside Los Angeles. Woods has been hospitalized, reportedly with...
This easily could have taken his life should things not go like they did. Even though he was mostly alright, outside of some leg injuries that required surgery, he had to be helped out of the car by rescue workers and taken to the local hospital for the aforementioned surgery. But even though it's been over a week since it occurred, details on what actually went down aren't as solid as you expect. So allow us to detail what happened to Tiger Woods. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
I made contact with him and I ensured that he was able to speak to me. At that time, he seemed that as though he was still calm and lucid.
7. The accident itself. Let's start at the beginning of things, shall we? Tiger Woods was involved in a high-speed, single-car accident outside Los Angeles. Woods suffered comminuted open fractures to both the upper and lower portions of his tibia and fibula in his right leg, as well as damage to the ankle bones and trauma to the muscle and soft tissues of the leg, according to an update released via his social media account on the Tuesday night of the accident. A comminuted fracture is when a bone breaks into more than 2 pieces, and an open fracture suggests bone broke the skin. As part of the procedure, Woods' right leg was stabilized by inserting a rod in the tibia. Screws and pins were used to stabilize the bones in the foot and ankle. A surgical release of the covering of the muscle was also performed to relieve pressure due to swelling. Woods was the sole occupant of the 2021 Genesis GV80 SUV when he headed northbound on a downhill, windy portion of the Hawthorne Avenue, a 2-lane road in Rancho Palos Verdes. Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva said Woods was driving at a relatively greater speed than normal when his vehicle crossed to the wrong side of the road at approximately 7:12 a.m. before veering off the road entirely and onto a hillside. A neighbor called 911 to alert authorities of the accident, and Woods was conscious when they arrived on the scene. "It's very fortunate that Mr. Woods was able to come out of this alive," said Carlos Gonzalez, an LA County Sheriff's Department deputy who was the first to report to the scene of the accident. Personnel from the LACSD said the interior of the vehicle Woods was driving remained intact. That, combined with the fact that Woods was wearing a seatbelt, allowed him to escape what otherwise would have been a fatal car crash, according to Villanueva. As news spread of everything, the sports world reacted as a whole.
Tiger Woods, 15-time major championship golfer, was involved in a serious car accident, a one-car accident, and according to the LA County Sheriff's Department, it was a rollover accident in which Tiger Woods...
6. ESPN and beyond. As you would have expected, regardless of what sports figure was in the car during the accident, the sports world as a whole went and broke down everything that happened to Tiger Woods and gave as many updates and details as they could to viewers who were just finding out about it. In fact, ESPN went and dedicated their time to the accident for the majority of the day, once the news broke, and even shuffled some of the other programs, like debate shows Around the Horn and PTI, in order to focus on the Tiger Woods situation. Just as important, many golfers and other athletes set words of encouragement and hope to Woods, his family, and friends, and his fans that he and they could know that he had their support. Needless to say, it was very tense that day when it happened. But the more the details came out, and they came out very strong at first in terms of intensity, but they eventually refined to be more accurate to what actually happened, things starting to be questioned. 5. Impairment. Here's the thing, when you think of Tiger Woods, you honestly think about his skill on a golf course. But you also think about a certain other car accident that led to his life and flaws being shown in all the ways that mattered. Needless to say, the man is not perfect at all, and as a result, when more details came out that it was a solo car accident, meaning the other car or person didn't cause Woods to fly off the road, the question became, why did he go off the road? The obvious answer, and the one that many people feared, was that Tiger was drunk, or that he was on some kind of medication that impaired him, and thus he crashed like he did. But apparently, and thankfully, that is not the case. There is no evidence of impairment, according to the Sheriff's Department, and Woods was reportedly calm and lucid when authorities arrived on the scene. On Wednesday, Villanueva provided an update on the crash, stating the LACSD was not contemplating charges against Woods. "This remains an accident," Villanueva said. "Accident is not a crime. They do happen, unfortunately." Indeed they do, and at the present, it's stated that Woods has no recollection of the crash, which isn't too unexpected given the gravity of the accident and his own injuries, which were later revealed to be a bit more serious than previously stated.
Both of these bones were broken, we know, somewhere just below the knee.
4. Crushed leg. Woods underwent a lengthy emergency surgery on his lower right leg and ankle at the Harbor-UCLA Medical Center. The leg fractures were comminuted, meaning the bone was broken in more than 2 parts, and open, meaning the broken bone was exposed to open air, creating risk of an infection. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Anish Mahajan said in a statement. Orthopedic trauma specialist inserted a rod into his tibia to stabilize both the tibia and the fibula bones. Stabilize the foot and ankle bones with a combination of screws and pins, and relieve pressure to the muscle and soft tissue of his leg by surgically releasing the cover of the muscle, Mahajan said. His right leg was basically crushed, Daniel Rappaport, the Tiger Woods correspondent for Golf Digest, told CNN's Wolf Blitzer on the Wednesday following the incident. The decision to surgically release the covering of the muscle suggests Woods may have been at risk of a compartment syndrome, an issue common after crush injuries, when pressure builds up to such a dangerous level that it can cut off blood flow. These surgeons likely believed that if they did not perform one of the procedures to release the pressure, they actually were worried that he couldn't lose the limb. Amputation might have been necessary, Dr. Jeremy Faust, emergency physician Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, told CNN. The more he had work done to the said leg, the more the officials and medical professionals admitted that it was basically a miracle that he didn't have more damage done to his body as a whole. So that begs another question. How is he doing now? 3. Status update. Tiger Woods shared some encouraging news with fans the Friday after the accident, as the golfer continued to recover and wanted to let others know his status. Tiger has been moved to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and received follow-up procedures on his injuries this morning. The procedures were successful, and he's now recovering and in good spirits, read a message posted to his Twitter account. Tiger and his family want to thank you all for the wonderful support and messages they have received over the past few days. We will not have any other further updates at this time. 2. Ben Hogan. While that may sound like wishful thinking, there's actually a bit of precedent to this in the form of golf legend Ben Hogan. He too was in a car accident during his career, and he got hit by a semi-truck and should have died, but instead, he recovered and went on to win several more majors. So that is the hope that many people will cling on to, and hope that Tiger really does get better and not get worse in some way.
Vehicle traveled several hundred feet from the center divider at the intersection and rested on the west side of the road in the brush.
1. The truth about the accident. As sad as it may sound, there's no way of knowing what happened to Tiger Woods that day with his car. Even he doesn't remember. There are certain experts who feel he might have been asleep at the wheel, and if that's the case, that would raise various new questions. But for now, it's all speculation, and all we can do is just hope Tiger Woods recovers, and that whatever caused his accident doesn't happen again. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at Tiger Woods and his recent accident that scared the sports world? Do you think the theories put out there about how the incident occurred are accurate? Or do you think that there is another explanation that many are missing or aren't willing to talk about because it's Tiger Woods? Do you think this will heavily affect his golfing career? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.